Welcome to the ABQ show. I'm your host, Wally Drangmeister. We have a special guest in the studio, Sydney Graczyk with Make-A-Wish, New Mexico.
Yes.
Great to see you.
Good to see you again.
I just want to tell you, I'm so excited to get to visit with you about Make-A-Wish, New Mexico and what you do. This is one of those bittersweet things, but when I hear the stories of what you do, but if somebody's not real familiar with Make-A-Wish,
Sure.
just what is your core mission? What do you do for families in need?
So we send children that are struggling with critical illnesses. They get to pick a wish. They get to have anything they want in the world. And we narrow it down to about 5 categories. So you can wish to go somewhere or be someone, have something, meet somebody, or give your wish away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and talk about the kind of children and families. What are they dealing with when they come to Make-A-Wish, and how does that all work? What's
Yeah.
the benefit that they get out of it?
You know, so it's a huge variety of children that we see. A lot of people, they hear Make-A-Wish and they think that we only serve children that are terminal.
Right.
And really, a lot of our children end up living on to have long, happy lives.
Right.
And so the children can be battling with anything from cancer to a kidney transplant. You know, there's a lot of rare diseases in the world, and so it really just varies. But what we found and what studies are showing now is that the impact of a wish for a family and for the community, and certainly for the child, can really have long-lasting medical impacts and show that a wish can help a child to feel better in the end.
Yeah, and I know you will get to some stories about how that works, but I've been very impressed with the fact that, you know, when you have a sick child, that's got to be the most difficult thing in the world. And I've had, when my daughters were growing up, just things that, if you look back, seem minor, how intense they are. But to have a child that has really huge things, to be able to focus on something other than the illness, that seems like it's a big part of it. Talk about that.
Yeah.
How does that play out in the family dynamic
You know,
when a family's under stress?
I think the thing that I hear the most from families is it allowed us a chance to just be a family, regardless of what the wish is. And that's for everybody in the family involved. You know, when you have a child that is that ill, it's very difficult for both parents to still hold a job. Oftentimes one parent has to give that up because there's treatments and hospital stays and unexpected sicknesses that just happen. So certainly for the parents, it can cause strife in the marriage. It can cause strife for you as an individual. And then another part that's often forgotten are the siblings.
Right.
Because they are struggling with so much that you don't want to ask for too much. You don't want to ask for anything extra. And you might not be able to do the sports because of time, because of money.
Right.
And you often can fade into the background as a sibling of someone that's critically ill, because everything has to be about that child and keeping them alive. And so we're actually working on a wish right now, and the predominant reason of why that child chose her wish is because she wants to get back to her siblings. She wants her siblings to be able to have an experience, and she gets to give that to them. You know, on a wish, a younger sibling can look to their older sibling who is sick and say, "Thank you so much for giving this to me."
Right.
And that might be the first time in their life that they are able to give something back to the family.
Right.
And that can be a very impactful thing for everybody involved.
Well, I've done some volunteer work just for daycare for families with developmentally disabled children, and I did see that. So, you know, we were basically providing daycare for a wide range of kids, but the kids that didn't have issues sometimes had more behavioral problems because so much focus was on that other. And so that's very interesting that it can really help the family, all the kids involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about how Make-A-Wish New Mexico is affiliated with the National and how that all works here.
You know, you're my absolute favorite person for even just saying that to start with. So again, another common misconception about Make-A-Wish is that we're this huge international organization and we're not local. And that's, as you just corrected, that's not true. And so we are Make-A-Wish New Mexico. So we raise all the money here. All the money stays here. And we only grant wishes to children that live in New Mexico. So the wonderful thing about the partnership that we have with our national office is they are able to provide support branding support. They provide policies and guidelines. They provide website and technological support that a staff of 5 might not be able to do. And they provide partnerships on a national level. So Walt Disney World Company, Macy's, Subaru, those are all national partnerships, but we get the opportunity to work with them on a local level.
Yeah, so it provides kind of the best. It really is a local,
Right.
a local charity, a local function, but you get some support from above.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, talk to us about some specifics. Give us a couple examples. I know we won't name family names, but
Yeah.
just some of the wishes that have been granted, and as you've seen it from your perspective,
Yeah.
what the benefit it provided the family.
Oh, those are my favorite part. So we had the best part is seeing their imaginations and
Right.
what a child will say. It's just incredible. And so last month we had a little girl, she lives up in Santa Fe, and her wish was to go to the beach and ride a horse wearing a wedding dress to a picnic dinner.
Okay.
And so that's what she did.
Yeah.
And part of, there's a wish and they're adorable, and then you
Right.
kind of hear the backstory of what
Right.
that was. So this child has done horse therapy, and part of her diagnosis was cancer.
Right.
And so she lost all of her hair. And as a small girl, as a girl in general, but certainly as a small girl, that is such a traumatizing thing.
Right.
And so the specifics of her wish was that she wanted to feel the wind in her hair, and she wanted to feel beautiful again. And so she got to have this experience and got to have a makeover, and they fixed her hair, and she picked out her wedding dress that she wanted to wear, and she got to have that wonderful experience with her family. So that was a really, really unique wish that we granted recently. And then last fall, we had a wish child, and he is probably one of the smartest children that you will ever meet. And he wished to meet Elon Musk.
Yes.
And he got to go, and he's surrounded at this table with other children that are 16, 17 years old, and he's 11.
Yes.
And he's the first one to raise his hand, the first one to ask questions. And he came in and spoke to our board about his experience with Elon Musk, and it was just incredible. This child is going to do wonderful things, right. And part of his inspiration will be his wish in meeting Elon Musk. And then we, not often, but we do have children that wishes to give their wish away.
Right.
And again, not always, but frequently when that's the case, the child is what we would consider a rush wish, and the doctor has said there's not a lot of time left.
Right. Yes.
And so this child, she was aware of her condition and her treatments she was no longer responding to. Right. And so she decided that she wanted to be done with the treatment and go home and spend time with her family.
Yes.
And she's 8. And her wish was to give her siblings laptops, yes, so that they could do better in school.
Okay.
And so just the selflessness that so many of them have, and the why behind the wish is such a powerful thing, not just for us in granting, but really for the child to feel maybe in the first time in their life that they have autonomy.
Yes.
And they have the ability to make a decision.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how do you go about raising money at a very high level? And we'll talk more in the second segment about some details, how some of our viewers can get involved if their hearts are moved. So.
Well, we ask. That's the first start.
Okay, good.
So we don't accept any money. We don't get any government funding.
Right.
So we ask for it all here. We do events. We have individual donors, of course, monthly giving. A big part of it is just being willing to find those people that want to be a part of the mission, like you said. And there's a ton of ways to get involved. I have people call and say, do you guys accept money in this form? Yes.
Yes, okay.
The answer is yes, yes.
You will take Bitcoin.
That's right.
All right, very good. Well, we are visiting with Sydney Graczyk, Make-A-Wish, New Mexico. When we come back, we'll visit more about the great mission. As we go to break, we're going to run a little video that highlights some of the key aspects of the mission in Make-A-Wish, New Mexico. You're watching the ABQ show here on ProView Networks.
beautiful story. Every moment on and on. We got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to, the best is yet to come.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Motto Mortgage Brokers works hard to give you more options. Hear why Emilio Vallejo's local brokerage is the perfect fit for this growing family. Call Emilio Vallejo's 505-506-9820.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
We love bringing renters together with the perfect rental home, apartment, condo, or office space. We also take great pride in helping property owners build equity in their investment. Maddox Management, 505-242-0989.
Welcome back to the ABQ show. I'm Wally Drangmeister, and we're visiting with Sydney Graczyk of Make-A-Wish, New Mexico. We're talking about, in the first segment, about how beneficial it is for the child, the siblings, the family. I understand there's some research that talked about what really the impact can be over a broad range of children. Tell us about that, Sydney.
So this is something that we are so excited about, because if you've been a part of the Make-A-Wish family, then you know instinctually what a wish means for a family, of course, and for the child. But now we are having a first of its kind study come out that's really showing the medical impact of a wish and what that means. So there's a doctor in Nationwide Children's Hospital, which is in Columbus, Ohio, and he had a patient, and this patient was having multiple seizures a day, and he was unable to get them under control, and things are just progressively getting worse. And when Make-A-Wish was introduced to the family, he wished to go meet a basketball player. And so on the journey to that wish coming true, the doctor is really trying to make this wish experience the best one, and trying to help him feel better. So he's doing these different treatments and trying different trials, and nothing is working. And so the child goes on his wish, and he comes back and he's meeting with Dr. Patel, and Dr. Patel's asking him how the seizures were on the wish. He didn't have any. So then he comes back from the wish, he still hasn't had any seizures, and this has now been a few years ago, and he still has not had any seizures. And so as a doctor, he began to think, this isn't me. This is something outside of me. This is something outside of the treatments that I've been doing. And so he did a study within the hospital, and he took 500 children that had a wish, and about 500 children that for some reason or another they didn't receive a wish.
Right.
And the outcomes of what he saw was that if you had a wish, you were more or less likely to go to the hospital, whether that's a planned or an unplanned visit. You were more willing to comply with treatments. Of course, that then has some cost savings effects as well.
Right.
And so really what we're seeing is that not only is a wish a nice thing, but it's a necessary part of the medical treatment as we are doing more research like this. So we are really just thrilled to see what's going on with him.
Well, you know, there's cynics abound that talk about that's just the placebo effect. Like that's not real. Like that your mental and spiritual aspect of something happening isn't helpful. You know? And I heard a physician talk about it once, and he was like, what do you mean? You know, it's like, this is about healing. Yes, it's like we don't understand everything. But in this case, it's not too hard to understand how that could be helpful.
Right.
But that's fantastic that there's research as well.
Well, and we have a medical advisory board, and one of the doctors has said, you know, we've got a lot of wonderful videos, and one of the doctors on the videos said, it's so instinctual that if you have something to look forward to and you have hope, that can change your mindset. And now we have studies that are showing that. And I think as a human, for me personally at least, you know, when you think about what hope can do for you, and, you know, even in work, you know, you get bogged down in work and then you think, oh, I've got a vacation coming up, or you have something to look forward to, and that's impactful.
Yes, absolutely. Now, what does it cost your organization for a typical wish? And I know it's not about the money on the wish, it's about getting something that's effective, but what range of cost is it to make this happen for these children and their families?
So in New Mexico, the average total cost of a wish is about $10,000.
Okay.
And, you know, a big part of that is in New Mexico, we have large family sizes.
Right.
And it's not uncommon to send a family of 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 on a trip. And that's expensive. And so the average total cost is about $10,000. We break that up typically into about 2 parts. So the cash portion of that is $6,000, and then the in-kind portion is $4,000. So in-kind is anything that's discounted or donated, but we have to ask for that, and we, you know, it takes staff time and volunteer resources to get that all coordinated.
Yeah, and that in-kind, give us some specifics. It's basically, if somebody knows it's Make-A-Wish, they will give you a deal, as it were. They'll cut you a really break because they believe in the cause as well.
So for one of our most common wishes is a shopping spree.
Yes.
So when a child wishes to go on a shopping spree, it's not just here's money and go have fun and we'll see you later. It's an event, and so they get picked up in a limousine, and then they tell us a list of stores that they want to go to in advance, and they go to lunch wherever they want to go. And so we receive the list of the stores, and then we call every single store on that list and say, we're with Make-A-Wish, New Mexico, we're granting this wish. Is there anything you can do to make this wish more special? And sometimes that's a discount. You know, I was on a shopping spree wish, and the child's favorite color was purple, and I knew her size. And so one of the stores in the mall had a rolling rack, and they picked out anything purple in the store that was in her size. And they, you know, they brought in a purple cake and really just went above and beyond to make it special for her. But if you want a makeover, you know, in the mall at one of the makeup counters, you know, sometimes they're willing to donate or discount that, and that would be part of the in-kind for us.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Now, I know you raise money throughout the year, but you have a big event coming up a little later in the spring. Tell us about that.
So we are hosting our 7th annual Wine and Wishes event, and this event is just fun. It's $50 a ticket, And you come in and you get heavy hors d'oeuvres, and you get wine tasting. The wine tasting is donated, and so and we have a wonderful silent auction that we work hard on, and our interns and volunteers work really hard on that. And we have a really fun thing that we call Restaurant Row. And so with Restaurant Row, you go up and you can pull off a gift card and you only pay 80% of the face value of that gift card.
Right.
And then we have a wine pull. So we have a wine wall, it's all donated as well. And they're wrapped up and you pull out a random bottle of wine.
Right.
And so that part's really fun. And then we go into the program, and the program is a great mix, in my opinion, of really fun and also really moving. And so last year we were able to bring a wish child in who was waiting for his wish.
Right.
He wished for an all-terrain wheelchair, which is basically looks like kind of like a tractor almost.
It's got big
huge,
wheels.
yes. And he wanted it to be yellow and black, like a bumblebee from the Transformer movies. And so we brought him in, and he thought he was just there as a Make-A-Wish representative. And he went up on stage, and we asked him about what his wish and why that was, and he likes to camp and likes to go fishing and do outdoorsy things, and that's tough to do in a wheelchair.
Right.
So he's telling us these things, and then around the corner rolls out this all-terrain wheelchair for him. And everybody in that moment got to be a part of what it means to grant a wish and what it means for the child, and to see the genuine surprise and excitement for the child and really the family as a whole. So it's a really wonderful event, and we have a live auction, and so we switch up the location every year. And this year it's going to be at the Balloon Fiesta Golf and Event Center.
Okay. And I believe, is it too early to register if people go to your
No,
website?
the event is on April 12th.
Yes.
And you can register on the website, which is listed, I believe, but it's newmexico.wish.org.
Yes.
So you can register, we still have openings for sponsorships, we still have openings for auction items if you're a business in town that would like to get involved. So there's always opportunities to partner.
All right, very good. Now, how many wishes are you able to grant in a typical year here out of the New Mexico Make-A-Wish?
Yeah, so last year we were able to grant 106.
Wow.
This year we will grant 105.
Right.
And that's throughout this state. We are estimating that that's about 40% of the kids that are eligible for a wish.
Right.
So the piece that we're missing is obviously New Mexico is a huge state and a rural state. Yeah. And so spreading the word about who we are and what we do and who is eligible. So again, going back to a lot of people think that it's only for terminal children. Right. And so spreading awareness about who really is eligible and it's those critical illnesses. And so that's a part of it. And then of course financially is always a piece of it for us. So if we had the influx of all 40% of those kids coming in, we wouldn't be able to grant their wishes, or it would take longer. And right now, we've never turned down a wish because of a financial reason. It's possible that at times throughout the year it might take longer to get a wish granted financially, but we've never turned a wish down, and we're very proud of that. And we'll continue to ask for money and continue to be diligent with the money that we spend so that we can continue to reach every eligible child.
Now, you talked a bit about panels, and so you want to do things that are appropriate medically and how does all of that work? I know you must have volunteers in a wide range of skills to help you with these wishes.
Yeah. So the main process of a wish is that the child is referred to us through a parent or any medical professional, or even the child themselves, because they can be up to 18 years old and they know how to use a computer. I mean, 4-year-olds know how to use a computer. So they are referred, and then we reach out to their doctor, or if they're on a set list of things that always qualify, cancer always qualifies. Other things we might need some more clarification on from the doctor. So we make sure that they really are eligible, and then we send volunteers out, and they get to go meet with the families, and they bring presents and really get to the heart of the wish and why the child wishes to have that thing. You know, Disney is, of course, a very popular wish, but you could go because you want to go to the Bippity Boppity Boutique, or because you want to meet Buzz Lightyear. And so it varies. So they get to really the heart of that, and then they bring it back to the office. And of course, like you said, we want to make sure we're being medically appropriate. We want our kids to be safe. We want to make sure it's okay for them to get on a plane or be in a car or whatever that might look like. And so we get approval from the doctor again to make sure that it is medically appropriate for the child and that they're going to be safe. And then once we get the go-ahead, we get to start planning from there.
Well, one of the things that I love about kids in general, and particularly those that have had some challenges, is sometimes their imaginations are just fantastically amazing. Talk to me about when their wish is not necessarily feasible. What do you do in that case? I would imagine you have a story or two.
We do. We had a child recently. He's young, and he does have a fantastic imagination, and he wished to be a frog.
Yes.
And so we started talking about what that might look like, and he corrected us. No, really, like Princess and the Frog style, he wants to legitimately be turned into not a human boy, but a frog.
Okay.
And so when we started talking about more of the why, he's very interested in marine biology. And so he is going to, he's going to be a marine biologist for the day. So he'll get to fly to a location and have an experience of what it's like to be a marine biologist and interact with frogs.
All right, very good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What are some ways people can support Make-A-Wish New Mexico financially, volunteering, other ways? What are the gamut of things you offer?
So we do have all those things. Volunteering is a great way to get involved, and of course all the information you can find on our website, and if you have further questions, our contact information and mine is also listed on the website. But volunteering and financially getting involved and seeing that the power of your dollars are staying here and really impacting our children here locally. And if you're a medical professional, become aware of what a wish can do and who in your sphere might qualify, so you can refer those children and we can start to reach them all.
All right, well, it's fantastic to be able to support families and the children. And again, it is about the child, but it's their whole family. That's fantastic. All right, we just have a minute, two or more. Give me one of your favorite stories about a wish that has touched you. I know that may be difficult. It's like trying to ask you which of your children do you like the most.
I know, and we know people do have a favorite child.
I was not yet.
I was not it. I don't know if I have a favorite wish. I think that my favorite thing about the wish is hearing how they're doing after, and the power of a wish. No matter what it is, and it might not be that it was my wish or something that I would have ever picked, but what it means to them and seeing in their eyes that something that they thought was impossible is now possible. So meeting the princesses at Disney World seems like something you could never do. And then you get a one-on-one experience with Princess Elsa and your whole mindset is shifted from that. And then when you come back and you have to have another treatment or you have another spell in the hospital, then the memories of that wish are still with you and with your family, and you're able to cope better with your illness. And I think for me, that's way more impactful than any one wish.
All right, very good. And tell us one more time about how we can register for your event coming up.
The best way really is to go to the website or follow us on any of our social media accounts, Make-A-Wish New Mexico.
Okay, Make-A-Wish New Mexico. Yeah. All right, we have been visiting with Sydney Graczyk about Make-A-Wish New Mexico. Fantastic organization doing great things in our community, and as you said, it's you are the New Mexico chapter. Right. You raise the money here, the money stays here to help New Mexico children, New Mexico families?
That's correct.
All right, very good. Well, that is it for this week's episode of the ABQ show. We really appreciate you listening, and be sure to check out newmexico.wish.org. Special thanks, Sydney. Great to have you on the show. Really appreciate it.